This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now it's 6 on Good Morning Indiana. As the sun rises in our nation's capital, it marks the beginning of the Senate impeachment trial.
I'm going to take my constitutional obligations very, very seriously.
We're breaking down what to expect as the trial moves forward.
Only on RTV6, a new app promoting personal safety. It's going live today for the first time in Indianapolis. This morning, we're getting the first look at the tool now debuting in the Midwest.
It's cold across the Hoosier state, but first responders are warning you not to venture on frozen waterways.
In central Indiana, there's no safe ice. It just thaws and freezes too much.
We're working for you to help you get out of a potentially life-threatening situation.
Plus, do you have a security camera or smartphone in your home? We're uncovering a scam that preys on fears of being recorded so you don't waste your money.
It is a busy morning here at RTV6 at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, January 21st. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana.
A historic day in the country as the impeachment process begins. Of course, the weather very cold outside. Waiting to bring down my wreath, hoping for temperatures in the 40s or the 50s at some point.
Are you thinking that's what's going to do it?
I'm talking to you and hoping that you guys can help me convince him.
I was going to say, you're going to have to talk to this guy because he's the one that's in control of all that.
You had about the first 17 days of this month to take down your reef when it was above normal. now you're complaining because we've had 2 days below
Happy
normal.
New Year.
It is chilly though once again across the area. Not quite as cold as it was yesterday with temperatures in the teens and the mid-20s, but skies are mostly cloudy. There's a few flurries out there as well, but you don't have to worry about any snow accumulation, and you can see these flurries continue to fade away as they push further and further down to the south. And you're noticing the skies already starting to clear in Lafayette as well as Crawfordsville, and that will be the trend throughout the day today. We'll go from some flurries and mostly cloudy skies this morning to a good amount of sunshine later on this afternoon. So bundle up. You need the heavier coat once again with temperatures that will stay in the 20s through the noon hour. There's not a whole lot of warming that'll take place throughout the day today, but it will get brighter. And those 40s that Raphael was looking for, they are in our forecast eventually. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren.
Todd, thanks. Pretty quiet on the roads this morning. Here's a look at I-465 in Monroe to the southwest. Traffic is traveling up to speed, as you can see, in both directions. So let's plan out your commute on the west side. I-74 traveling eastbound starting in Brownsburg, State Road 267. Heading to I-465, it's a quick 7-minute drive. No delays here to slow down your commute.
It is a historic day in our country. This afternoon, the impeachment trial for our 45th president, Donald Trump, will get underway.
And a lot has happened over the last several months leading up to this point. Raphael, can you break this down and make it easier to understand for us?
Yes, some pivotal moments that led to this moment in time. This all started back in late July when President Trump is accused of withholding funds to Ukraine unless they agreed to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter. The phone calls were detailed in a whistleblower report that was filed in August. Then, on September the 24th, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, announces a formal impeachment inquiry accusing President Trump of a betrayal of his oath. And then, on December the 5th, the Speaker announces she directed the Judiciary Committee to draft the articles of impeachment against the President. The House voted along party lines to approve the articles on December the 13th. They were all transferred to the Senate, as you may recall, just last week. These are all the pivotal months. But now, ABC's Elizabeth Herr brings us up to speed on what we can expect later today.
Ahead of the historic impeachment showdown, Democrats blasting Republicans.
Senator McConnell's resolution is a national disgrace.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer slamming Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's proposed resolution, which gives the two sides 2 days each, 24 hours in all, to make their opening arguments. Then there will be 16 hours of questions from senators. After that, the debate over the issue of witnesses.
It's clear McConnell is hell-bent on making it much more difficult to get witnesses and documents, and intent on rushing the trial through.
This, as President Trump's lawyers argue in their 110-page brief, the process has violated every precedent and every principle of fairness, with one of the president's lawyers, Alan Dershowitz, claiming the articles of impeachment do not rise to the levels of high crimes and misdemeanors as the Constitution requires.
But the articles of impeachment are two non-criminal actions.
But Dershowitz himself said the exact opposite 21 years ago during the Clinton impeachment.
Certainly doesn't have to be a crime if you have somebody who completely corrupts the office of president.
And this was Dershowitz on CNN last night explaining his contradiction.
So I've now done the research. No, I wasn't wrong. What I have a more sophisticated basis for my argument now, having read Justice Curtis's opinion and other opinions.
And so this afternoon, Chief Justice John Roberts will gavel on the trial, and that's when those proposed rules will be laid out. And again, Democrats say they will fight those rules, they say, to get a fair trial. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Elizabeth, thank you. The trial is set to begin around 1 o'clock this afternoon. ABC's live coverage will begin following RTV6's news at noon. You can watch the impeachment trial on the RTV6 app as well as your favorite streaming device.
Have you gotten your W-2s yet? If not, your employers are required to get them to you by the end of this month.
That's right, because starting next week, the IRS will begin accepting tax returns. But do you have everything that you need?
Our Kelsey Anderson spoke with the tax professional about some tips and tricks to take into the filing season. She joins us live this morning with more. Kelsey, I don't think anyone's really a fan of taxes except for one person, right?
My mother, I'm telling you, my mother, she's the fan of the tax season. She's an accountant. She lives for this. She loves to do the math. But there's no easy way to do your taxes. It's always stressful. So we're here to lay out some things that might make that stress just a little bit less this year. And first and foremost, you want to organize your tax paperwork, including last year's tax return and this year's W-2 and 1099s. I spoke with Michael Jameson, the president of On Target CPA, and he says about 90% of the population chooses to take the standard deductions, which is going up nearly $200 this year. And of course, he says you should file as soon as you're ready so you don't run the risk of getting your identity stolen.
If you're going to have a refund and you have a very simple tax situation, there's really no reason to procrastinate. If you file your return, the end of January, when the IRS starts accepting electronically filed returns, you're going to get your refund sooner. So typically people that have a big refund coming to them want to get that money.
And we told you earlier this month on Good Morning Indiana that if you made under $69,000 last year, you should be able to electronically file for free this year. Now, coming up in the next half hour, Jameson has some tips that you won't want to miss if you have a kid or kids in college. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
The time now is 6:07, and only on RTV6, you're getting the first look right now at a new way to keep track of your personal safety. The app known as Citizen is making its debut today right here in the Midwest, right here in Indianapolis. The mobile security app allows you to get up-to-date information about incidents like missing persons, fires, car collisions, and much more in your area. The service is 24/7 and it's free. The system also includes alerts that include videos. The app is currently in use in New York, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and Baltimore. We'll have more of this developing story later today.
Right now, the Red Cross needs your help.
That organization has a critical blood shortage. Donors of all blood types are urged to give now to help restock blood supply. Our Alyssa Donovan joins us live this morning from the American Red Cross. Alyssa, this is a problem the Red Cross often faces during the winter months, right?
That's right. So there's a lot of elements to why that happens this time of year. But the type that they are most interested in right now is type O, because that's a universal donor. However, they are encouraging everyone of all blood types to come donate as soon as possible. I'm here with Sandra from the Red Cross. Tell me why you guys always face this in the winter months and around the holidays.
Oh, we face a shortage nearly every year just because with the holidays and winter weather and the flu season, people just aren't giving like they normally do. They're busy. They've got things going on. They've got sick children. They can't give at their workplace blood drive, things like that.
And in terms of this blood, I mean, this is used at so many hospitals across the region. What happens if you guys were not to be able to restock?
Oh, gosh. Well, I don't think that's a situation we've ever truly been in. However, I think what they would start doing would be canceling elective surgeries like hip replacements, knee replacements, things like that, just to ensure that we had the blood on the shelves for an emergency.
And what should someone do if they're listening right now and they say, you know what, I can donate? How do I do it today?
Oh, gosh, they could go right on their mobile phone or their computer, redcrossblood.org. And in the upper right corner on the homepage, they just put their zip code in, and it'll tell them a blood drive within 15 miles of their of the zip code that they put into the website.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Sandra. And coming up in the next half hour, we're going to have some details on some local blood drives that are happening this week that you can get involved in and help out. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Great cause. Please give if you can. The time now is 6:10. Cleanup gets underway this morning following a fire at a Southside parochial school. Investigators say that Cub Scouts were learning how to stop, drop, and roll when a fire started at St. Jude Catholic School. Firefighters say a pile of decorative straw in a storage room spontaneously combusted. Now, preschool and pre-K classes will still be held today. Those classes are held in a different building. Classes overall are expected to resume tomorrow.
Central Indiana is waking up with temperatures well below freezing again this morning. But it's not just humans dealing with the cold. Our pets who cannot bundle up are battling the cold temps too. When temperatures drop, Friends of Indianapolis Dogs Outside looks for violations like dogs outside under 20 degrees. Crews say they try to correct behavior first, like giving homeowners the correct supplies. They say the last thing they want to do is separate a dog from its family.
We offer services like inside training crates to help people bring their dogs inside the house that might not otherwise do that because they're not house trained. We also offer, warm dog houses, straw bedding for when dogs are outside.
For more information about how to get help from Fido, you can go to the RTV6 app and click on this story.
It's 6:11. Hiring Hoosiers connects you to job opportunities across Indiana. A job fair will be held in Lebanon today as a retailer prepares to open a new store. The fair runs from 11 to 8 at the Goodies location in the Village North Shopping Center. That store is being converted into a Gordman's, which is set to open in March. The company says it offers flexible schedules and benefits. Nearly 100 Southern Indiana coal mine workers are off the job this morning. Sunrise Coal says it's stopping production at its Sullivan County mine near Carlisle. The company blames an oversupply of domestic coal, according to the company's website. Sunrise is the state's second largest coal producer. Sunrise says that the plant's shortage is temporary. Coal production continues at the company's Knox County facility.
So the cold weather across central Indiana has some ice forming on area lakes and ponds, as you can see. But listen up. Coming up at 6:16, we're working for you with area first responders and why they say, please stay on solid ground. Let's first check in with our one and only Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Yeah, great advice, Raphael's. Temperatures will be above freezing for afternoon highs. As we go forward in this forecast, it's still pretty cold here this morning. No, as temperatures for your commute are in the 20s with a few flurries out there, although there will not be any slick spots on the roadways. That is the good news. We'll talk about the rest of today and look ahead to those warmer temperatures I mentioned coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:12. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
And Keller, right now.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 6:15, so let's get you caught up on what's expected to make headlines later today. As the Senate impeachment trial gets underway in Washington, President Trump meets with leaders from government, business, and organizations in Switzerland at the annual World Economic Forum. Climate issues are set to be one of the main talking points. The 2020 U.S. Census is underway with the first counts coming in the tiny town of Alaska's Toksook Bay. The census has started
started there traditionally and out of necessity because once the spring thaw comes, the town of about 660 people empties out so residents can hunt and fish. For the rest of the country, the census will start in mid-March. Who is headed to Cooperstown? The Baseball Hall of Fame announces its latest inductees tonight. Based on ballots already available, Derek Jeter might be only the second player elected unanimously by voters. Fellow Yankee Mariano Rivera earned the honor last year. Initial returns also show Larry Walker and Kurt Schilling could be close to induction.
Here at 616, the snow machines are working hard this morning down in southern Indiana. Officials at Paoli Peaks in Orange County say they're preparing to reopen this week. The ski resort had to close back in December because of the warm weather. Officials say areas for skiers and snowboarders will open tomorrow at noon. The snow tubing areas will reopen on Friday. Paoli Peaks says that they'll continue to make snow as long as the weather allows it.
So, you know, the winter has been wild for the most part here in central Indiana, but first responders say temperature swings like the ones we're going through can make an already dangerous situation even worse. And that's why emergency officials are reminding everyone to stay off frozen waterways. Rescue crews say it's key to remember that retention ponds are not for recreational use. In fact, the video you're seeing is of people training. So these are not folks having a good time. They're training. Now, either way you call it, if you see an animal fall into the ice, make sure to call 911. Wayne Township firefighters say it's natural to want to help someone in need, but there is a safe way to do it.
We ask that you dial 911 immediately. Take the opportunity to find something that will float. You could throw them extension cords, rope, just anything that will float for them to hold on to until rescuers can arrive on the scene and safely remove them from the water.
Captain Pruitt says experienced recreational fishermen should have a good working knowledge of ice conditions if they choose to go ice fishing. Now remember, this is key. Ice is only safe to hold a human after it's about 4 inches thick. So keep that in mind if you're going out and about. Make sure it's nice and thick.
And these fluctuating temps we've seen over the past month are the reason why really any water around central Indiana wouldn't be frozen right now, Todd.
Yeah, you know, we've had a couple days here where it's been cold, but then the temperatures are going right back above freezing in the coming days. So, yeah, I would be safe to say at least here in central Indiana, no ice is probably thick enough to go out on at this point, and it'll be melting as we go into the next few days with temperatures in the 40s. Maybe extreme northern Indiana, it could be a different case, but I haven't really looked at the temperatures in depth up there to give you a valued opinion on that. This is key here, 36 degrees. That's now our average high temperature for this time of year. Why is it key? Well, yesterday it was 35. So we've hit our lowest average high for this time of year. From this point forward into the summer months, this average high number is now going to start to head in an upward direction. So that's at least some good news here in the end of January. 24 degrees right now, just a light wind, not factoring in much of a wind chill factor this morning as you walk out the door. But where the skies have cleared already this morning, the temperatures have dropped down into the teens. 16 in Lafayette, 18 in Crawfordsville, where the clouds are still in place this morning. Temperatures are in the 20s, 25 in Bloomington, 23 is the current temperature in Greenfield, and it's 24 as you make your way up into the Peru area. And we'll stay in the 20s throughout a good chunk of the morning hours. We're not going to see a big jump forward in the temperature department throughout the day today, although we will get the sunshine into the forecast later on this afternoon. So it's the opposite of yesterday. Yesterday we started with the sunshine, then got into the clouds. Today we start with the clouds and then get into the sunshine. Your high today right around freezing at 30 to 32 degrees across most of the area. There's the clearing that's taken place in Lafayette and Crawfordsville. A little sliver of clear skies in Richmond. That's why your temperature was in the teens. And then you see the clouds. And as far as the snow showers, they continue to diminish across the area. Nothing more than a few flurries, and this is not enough to cause any issues out there on the roadways. So your commute, it's just cold out there. You don't have to worry about anything else. Just bundle up a little bit. And the overall weather pattern, at least for the next couple days, is going to be fairly quiet. If you do have plans on this Tuesday evening, temperatures, they'll be falling back down into the mid-20s with clear skies. Then overnight tonight, we're looking at temperatures that will be in the teens for almost everybody. That's because most of us tonight will have clear skies across the area, about 17 here in the city. But going forward in this forecast, tomorrow is a very seasonable day for us. A mixture of sun and clouds. temperature right around 36 degrees. Thursday is a little bit warmer at 42 with increasing clouds. And then we get to Friday and Saturday, and that's when we'll start to bring in a rain-snow mixture. In fact, some of this rain will develop very late in the day on Thursday. The daytime hours on Thursday will be completely dry. It's not until overnight that some of the shower activity will start to make its way into the area. And just depending on the timing, as it comes in Friday, there could be a little bit of a wintry mix, and then temperatures will go above freezing Friday afternoon. So at that point, it's all rain. And then as this system slowly makes its way through the area, the overnight hours Friday into Saturday, as it cools off, we're back to a little bit of a wintry mix, and then going back over to all rain by Saturday afternoon. So there will be some opportunities here for a little bit of a wintry mix both Friday and Saturday morning for us. I'm not expecting significant issues at this point from that wintry mix, only because temperatures will go above freezing pretty quickly, and the low temperatures themselves will only be right around freezing, but it is something to alert you to, and we'll keep an eye on it for you. And then Sunday and Monday, mostly cloudy with temperatures in the 40s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Here is a live look in Fishers. Good morning to you. No problems on the interstates here. I-69 at 96th Street. Traffic is picking up, as you can see, both northbound and southbound. So let's take you across town, give you a look from our live drive vehicle. Shea Goodpaster in the driver's seat, and this is a dash cam view. What you can expect if you're traveling right now on the northwest side. He's traveling northbound on 65, approaching 71st Street, and everything is traveling smoothly there this morning.
Do you remember your elementary school teacher asking what you wanted to be when you grow up? New at 6:25, the surprise one boy got when he told his teacher about his future career. Wow, this looks like it'll be pretty good. We'll see you back here after the break.
Get the perfect match that will set them up for success.
All right, the time right now is 6:25. It is time to talk about what is trending at 6 o'clock. So here's a cute story. A 9-year-old creating some amazing art from an unlikely object. Take a look at this. Benjamin Russo created this mosaic mural of wrestler John Cena using Rubik's Cubes. Ooh. Russo, who has dyslexia, shared this video of his project on YouTube. The young artist receiving tons of support, including from his muse, John Cena himself, who tweeted that he admired the boy and his work. That's pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So a teacher and a NASCAR crew giving a Virginia boy the surprise, really, of a lifetime. You see, 9-year-old Josh Grando told his teacher he wanted to be a NASCAR pit crew member when he grows up. With the help of a friend, Grando's teacher reached out to Chip Ganassi Racing, who paid the boy a visit. Now that has to be big time. The crew brought a NASCAR to Josh's school. Wait a minute, that's awesome. A recruiting letter as well, and even let him help change the tire.
Even got a fire suit and all.
That's pretty awesome.
Come to Indy, Josh. Come to Indy. We welcome you.
Yes.
We welcome you.
An abandoned husky with unique eyes has been adopted after rising to internet fame. Jubilee has an eyelid deformity, making her eyes always look surprised. Oh. After being surrendered, a shelter found Jubilee plenty of fans online. A Facebook post led to more than 150 adoptive applicants.
Oh,
she's cute.
That's an awe moment this morning.
That is, I saw her picture online this past weekend, and I was showing everyone around me because I've never seen a dog that expressive.
No.
Oh, so cute.
Very cool.
All right. Are people's eyes going to pop out of their heads when they walk out the door this morning, Todd?
Yeah. Maybe a little bit. You know, it's not as bad as it was yesterday morning, but it's still pretty cold out there. So as we do get you out the door, temperatures are in the teens and 20s, depending on where you are. A few flakes will be possible this morning, but we are not looking at anything significant or anything that's going to hamper your morning commute. But the temperatures really just don't move a whole lot throughout the entire day today. By the noon hour, we're at 26 degrees, and even though we'll see more in the way of sunshine as the day goes on, we only get up to right around 30 degrees in the city. A little bit warmer down in the south, Bloomington, over towards Columbus, right around 33 degrees. Our normal high now is 36, so it's another below normal day. That changes starting tomorrow. More on that coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Do you have a home security camera? Safe to say a lot of us do, and maybe you sleep with your smartphone nearby.
But if you answered yes to either of those, our John Matteries is working for you this morning to prevent you from falling victim to a new scam.
Do you have a Ring or a Nest camera in your home? Do you have a smartphone that you keep in your bedroom at night? Well, then you need to know about the newest sextortion scam that preys on our fear of being secretly recorded. These days, many people have security cameras in or around their homes. Even if you don't, you probably have a smartphone plugged in on your nightstand. So scammers are now claiming they have compromising photos of you after hacking into one of your cameras. CNBC reports that thousands of people are getting an email claiming that someone has nude photos of you recorded with your cell phone camera or a home security camera. They claim they will distribute them all over the internet unless you pay them, typically $500 in Bitcoin or gift cards. Now, there's a word for this: sextortion. CNBC says the photos or video really doesn't exist, but scammers are preying on your fear that it does. If you receive an email like this, delete it. If you're still worried, ask the person to show you proof. They won't be able to, and that way you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
For more cost-saving tips and ideas, visit our money section of our website, theindychannel.com.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. A 36-year-old man and his 4-year-old son both shot in the head after a gun the man was carrying fired while they were play wrestling. This happened Sunday at a home on East Zinnia Drive that's south of Bloomington. The man is expected to recover. The 4-year-old is still in critical condition.
And let's take you to Tippecanoe County. Police in Lafayette continue to investigate a police shooting that left the suspect dead. Officers were called to State and 23rd Streets southeast of downtown Lafayette Monday afternoon. Investigators say while trying to get a man with a gun to surrender, an officer opened fire, striking and killing the man. This morning, we're still working to learn more about that ongoing investigation.
And back here in Indianapolis, a suspect accused in 2 separate homicides that happened on back-to-back mornings earlier this month is now off the streets. Police arrested Demarion Moore in Champaign, Illinois. He's accused of killing Krishawn Snelling January 8th at an apartment complex on Hardin Boulevard. The next morning, Shanji Scott was found shot to death about 5 miles away on Westmore Drive.
Parking as you know it in downtown Noblesville is changing today. A new ordinance separates downtown parking into 3 locations: paid lots, free on-street spaces, and 2 consecutive hours of free parking per day. The Commons Council approved the pilot program back in October, a few months after drivers told RTV6 that the new parking enforcement technology was causing problems.
And a 5-game winning streak is over for the Pacers, snapped by the Jazz last night in Salt Lake City. The Jazz were led by a couple of familiar faces, former Bojan Bogdanovic and former Lawrence North star Mike Conley Jr. The Jazz win 118-88. The Pacers road trip continues tomorrow night in hopefully sunny Phoenix.
Yes, somewhere we would all love to be on a morning like today, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Todd's like, sorry.
Phoenix isn't bad, but in Miami this morning, it's down into the 40s.
No
Orlando,
kidding.
it's down into the 30s. So even Florida's getting into this big chill that has taken over the eastern portion of the country. Temperatures this morning here in central Indiana, not quite as cold as they were yesterday morning. But let's face it, anytime you're walking out, the temperatures in the teens and 20s, it's cold. You definitely need to have the heavier jacket, the hat and gloves. And you'll need the sunglasses later on this afternoon as well. Some of you will use the sunglasses maybe this morning, but it's more in the afternoon that we really start to clear the skies out. So this morning, grab that extra cup of coffee as you may need it after many of you had off yesterday for the holiday. Temperatures will be in the 20s for the duration of your morning drive with skies that'll be mostly cloudy. And there's been a few flurries out there this morning. They continue to diminish and they will not cause an issue, but just don't be shocked maybe if you see one. And the clouds are already starting to clear out in spots across central Indiana. So your morning forecast starts off with clouds. We should thin them out by the noon hour. Unfortunately, even as we start to get into the sunshine later on this afternoon, temperatures do not do a whole lot. 24 degrees here at 9 a.m., only 27 degrees by the noon hour. We'll talk about the rest of this afternoon and beyond coming up in just a few minutes, but at 6:32, let's get another look at the roadways with Lauren.
All right, Todd, the good news around the metro area, traffic is pretty light. No crashes to slow you down. And here's a look from our live drive vehicle traveling southbound on I-65 on the northwest side near 71st Street. You can see open roads in that direction. No major delays to slow you down. Well, we are just hours away from the beginning of President Trump's impeachment trial.
The House accuses the president of abusing his power by pressuring Ukraine to investigate his political rivals. He's also charged with obstructing the investigation because the White House repeatedly blocked witnesses from testifying.
And one of the unique things about the impeachment trial, Raphael, is it's one of the few times we'll actually see all the members of the U.S. Senate in the same place.
So all eyes today will be on the Capitol. And of course, Lauren, indeed, it is a historic day. Not only will all 100 senators be in the chamber, you can also expect very few interruptions from the senators during the proceedings. You ask why? That's because they've been banned from doing anything to impede the trial. CNN's Brian Todd explains the reasons for these tough rules.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons are commanded to keep silent on pain of imprisonment.
Among the new written restrictions for senators inside the chamber during the trial, keeping your mouth shut, even refraining from whispering to the person next to you. There's no use of cell phones or other electronic devices in the chamber. No reading materials are allowed unless they're related to the impeachment trial. And no standing. Senators have to sit in their seats when the trial is in session, except to vote.
You cannot even move during the course of the trial. Now, what that will do for middle-aged and older men who may need to bring in catheters is another story.
Some senators are already chafing tonight. Quote, "That's going to suck," said Marco Rubio about the no-talking rule. Others are rolling with it.
I think this will actually probably be healthy for all of us, but will be a challenge.
Sitting for the trial. James Ziegler was the Senate Sergeant at Arms during the Clinton impeachment trial in 1999.
All persons are commanded to keep silent on pain of imprisonment.
Ziegler says in the Clinton trial there were similar rules. They just weren't written down. And he points out Democratic Senator Tom Harkin of Iowa did violate the no-talking rule when he stood up and raised an objection.
Mr. Chief Justice, I object. I base my objection on the 26 rules of the Senate adopted by the Senate governing impeachments.
Which, by the way, Chief Justice Rehnquist sustained, and it wasn't a situation where I needed to go do something or talk to Senator Harkin.
Ziegler doesn't believe it's too much to ask of a senator to sit still, be quiet, and refrain from reading or texting on their phone in a proceeding with the gravitas of a president's impeachment.
Jurors in a normal criminal proceeding in our court system are required to sit still and listen to what's going on. And I think it's part of that general culture that they're trying to make it clear to the Senate. You're expected to be there. You're expected to listen to this. You're not expected to be doing other work.
And so those are the rules for the next several days or even possibly weeks. As CNN's Brian Todd reporting, we will have live coverage of the Senate impeachment trial of President Trump starting at 1 o'clock this afternoon here on RTV6. You can also watch our coverage live on the RTV6 Facebook page as well as our website, theindychannel.com.
It's that time of year again, tax season. Starting next week, the IRS will begin accepting returns. But do you have everything you need? Our Kelsey Anderson spoke with a tax professional about some tips and tricks to take into the filing season. She joins us live this morning with more. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. So we're all starting to receive those tax documents from our employers, our W-2s, 1099s, and that's the key to having a successful tax season is having all of that stuff together and organized. So you want to organize everything you'll need before you begin filing, and that includes last year's tax return and this year's W-2 and 1099s. I spoke with Michael Jameson, the president of On Target CPA, and he says about 90% of the population chooses to take the standard deductions, which is going up nearly $200 this year. And of course, you want to file as soon as you're ready so you don't run the risk of getting your identity stolen. I asked Jameson what advice he would give someone as a tax planning strategy.
Indiana specifically has a $1,000 tax credit if you put $5,000 into a Indiana College Choice 529 plan, and that is designated for college. Also, they have half that amount if it's for K through 12. So that's one thing in Indiana that's a good tax planning strategy.
Jameson says if you make that $5,000 contribution, you can immediately take out almost all of it and use it to pay for college and still get the benefit as long as you keep that account open. But it's not something you can do now to benefit you on your 2019 return, but you can do it now for your 2020 return so you get that $1,000 benefit next year. Now, we've got a lot more tips and tricks on tax season over on our money section on theindychannel.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. you. Well, we hear it all the time, but the need is not going away. Next, how you can help to save a life by just spending a few minutes donating blood.
Oh, here we go again. How many potholes have you seen lately? I'm afraid to ask. The winter has been mostly mild, but up until recently, and later today, we'll find out exactly how the city's roads are handling the season so far. And I'm sure you will let us know. The time now is 6:38, and you're watching Good Morning Indiana.
For a free in-home consultation.
It is critical for saving lives, but right now a blood shortage is causing major concern for the Red Cross.
The organization needs people to really step up and donate to help restock the blood supply. Our Alyssa Donovan is at the Red Cross right now. And Alyssa, they're telling you that donors with type O blood are critically needed. And I have to tell you something. I want to admit something to you. Meredith asked me what was my blood type. I have no idea, so I should probably come and visit with you to figure out how I can donate, right?
You guys.
Just being honest.
Yes. No, I don't know mine either, so you're not alone. We had that conversation earlier this morning. I should probably find out if I am type O, because that is, of course, the universal donor, and that is what is desperately needed right now. But, of course, the Red Cross is encouraging all donors of all blood types to come forward right now because they have a shortage, and they need to fill that and restock their blood supply. I'm here with Sandra from the Red Cross. Tell me, you guys always experience this sort of shortage this time of year. Why is that?
It's just due to the holiday time, the horrific weather that we're experiencing throughout the country, and right now our cold and flu season is really getting the best of us.
And you were telling me earlier that you guys mostly do mobile when it comes to blood supply and drives. Tell me, what's going on this week? You have a couple opportunities for people to get involved.
Yeah, two that come to mind most of all are, number one, Arsenal Tech, JROTC, is sponsoring a blood drive Friday from 8:30 until 2:30 right over on the campus of Arsenal Tech. Just follow the signs and you'll know where to go. And then in Fishers, the Fishers High School boys lacrosse team is sponsoring a blood drive from 10 until 3 Saturday at the Delaware Township Community Center.
And how important are those blood drives to you guys when it comes to restocking your supply?
Oh my gosh, they're so important to us. Not only do we want to kind of collect what we're kind of gauging for that day, but we will actually pack supplies to collect double of what the goal is. So for instance, if we're looking to collect 50 units, we will actually pack supplies to collect 100 units, and we won't turn anyone away.
Wow. Okay, so you guys are doing a lot of the work in the community to help restock this. And if you want to donate, if you can go to one of those blood drives, that's a great way. Sandra tells me about 80% of their blood donations come from those drives, or you can make an appointment, and you can do that on redcrossblood.org on the app that they have available as well. You can schedule an appointment there, and there are a lot of ways that you can get involved and help our community. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Well, they could be out of work for up to 6 months. Up next, how you can lend a helping hand to the employees of an Indianapolis landmark.
And it was a day to give back. We'll show you how one community took the words and teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and put them into action. Todd.
And as you walk out the door this morning, it's another cold start to the day with temperatures that are in the teens and 20s. And honestly, throughout the morning hours, there's not going to be a whole lot in the way of improvement. And a few snowflakes are possible as well. However, we'll turn the tides on these very cold temperatures in the coming days. We'll talk more about your extended forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Keller and Keller. Right now.
Time now is 6:46 on your Tuesday, and we're keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out there. You can't see it from our view here at I-465 and Washington Street, but we do have a crash reported in that area on Washington Street near the interstate, so keep that in mind. Also in that same area on the west side, a crash with a reported person struck by a vehicle. That's at Morris Street and South Girls School Road. No word on any injuries at this time, but we'll continue to monitor both of those situations and keep you updated. Well, it has been a milder than normal winter for the most part this year, and today we'll find out how that's impacting pothole season. The director of the Department of Public Works, Dan Parker, is expected to address the current status of pothole repairs and street maintenance here in the city of Indianapolis. We spoke to Parker last month, and he told us that this year's budget is allowing the department to increase staff.
We have even more personnel to come on to DPW to help us with getting work done. So we're creating a second shift at DPW. Folks will be working from 4 to 12:30 at night to get additional work done.
As always, you can report potholes by downloading the Request Indy app or by calling the Mayor's Action Center.
A legendary Indianapolis restaurant needs your help to take care of its employees. Country Kitchen will remain closed for months after a serious fire destroyed parts of the building. The owners want to make sure their employees, who will be out of a paycheck until the restaurant reopens, are taken care of during the closure. Today, our partners at Radio 1 are teaming up with volunteers to hold a drive-by fundraiser.
You know, it's been a neighborhood meeting spot since 1988. I mean, it just it has grown and grown with popularity. It's folksy. It's kind of like where everybody knows your name, and then, you know, it's small enough for that, but yet it's large enough to accommodate big groups of people. And it's just become a neighborhood favorite. It's become a community favorite.
The donation drive is happening from noon until 5 p.m. outside of the Country Kitchen restaurant on 19th and College. You can also donate at any KeyBank location.
We'll be out there today. So come by and say hello and help that cause. The Martin Luther King Jr. holiday is a national day of service, as you know. And yesterday, people all over central Indiana turned out to give back to their neighborhoods. We caught up with people assembling these street outreach survival kits at the Kennedy King Park Center. Organizers say people of all races and genders and ages were there, and they had special plans to show the kids Robert Kennedy's speech the night he was in Indianapolis and spoke to the crowd when MLK was killed, to give them that historical context.
That all happened in 1968, but today they can take up their power and they become human rights defenders. And so this is all just to start that spark with them.
The volunteers put together about 1,000 kits for people in Indianapolis who are experiencing homelessness in an effort to get them what they need to survive. Thank you for all of you for your efforts yesterday on that day of service.
Well, it is back to work, back to school for several people across our area, and it's a day they're going to need to bundle up again, Todd.
Yeah, another cold start for us. This is going to make 3 in a row, something we haven't seen in quite a while. The first half of January was running so warm for us. Now a little bit of a reality check the past few days. Outside right now, we're dealing with temperatures that are sitting in the teens and 20s, still holding on to 25 degrees in Indianapolis with a little more in the way of cloud cover. The winds are light, so thankfully we don't have these cold temperatures and a gusty wind. We're not factoring in much of anything in the way of wind chills, but where the skies have cleared a little bit this morning, that's where we find the temperatures in the teens. 16 in Lafayette, 18 in Crawfordsville, some teens to the east where the skies have cleared a bit. 16 is the current temperature in Richmond, where the clouds are still in place. From Bloomington down towards Bedford, temperatures are sitting in the mid-20s. So if you're getting ready to go walk the dog might turn around and walk right back inside just like you with the chilly temperatures. So I picked a dog that had his jacket on here to kind of give you the idea this morning. This is Zoidberg, sent in by Mai, and if you want to send in your photos to feature on the dog walking forecast, you can send them to my Facebook page at Todd Clausen, RTV6. We'll give you the green paws here throughout the day today. I know it's a little cold, and that's why Zoidberg has his jacket on, but the temperatures will eventually climb up into the low 30s later on this afternoon. We start with clouds this morning, and then we get sunshine into the forecast as we work our way into the afternoon hours. And here are those clear skies where the temperatures are a little bit colder. Clouds through the middle half of the state and then off to the east. There's been a few breaks in the clouds, but they're starting to fill back in. As far as the snow goes, there were a few flurries around the area this morning. There's a few more in and around the metro area, but that will not cause any issues whatsoever on the roadways this morning. And the overall weather pattern, at least for right now, is fairly quiet throughout much of the Midwest. That will change, though, as we get towards the end of the week. That's when our next weather system is going to move in. Bad timing. Last week, we dealt with rain on Friday and Saturday, and it looks like that's going to be the case as well this week. Temperatures tomorrow morning, probably a little bit colder, widespread across the area, anywhere from about 15 to 20 degrees as you wake up tomorrow morning. But unlike today, when our temperatures won't warm a whole lot, tomorrow we'll make a nice jump forward in the temperature department, going from 17 degrees at 8 a.m. up to 30 degrees already by the noon hour, which is going to be right around our high for the day today. And then we'll continue to warm tomorrow up to a high temperature right around 36 degrees. As you look at your 7-day planning forecast, that weather maker that I mentioned comes in Friday into Saturday, and it's going to be a wintry mix early Friday morning, and then during the daytime hours, temperatures get up into the 40s, so we go over to all rain. Same deal for Saturday. During the nighttime hours, could be a wintry mix, then going over to all rain. Doesn't look at anything super significant at this point, but there could be a few slick spots maybe Friday morning, but plenty of time to fine-tune that forecast. Until then, enjoy the warming trend that's heading our way. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Here is a look right now from our live drive vehicle traveling on the west side of town. Shea Goodpastures in the driver's seat traveling eastbound on I-70 just past Sam Jones Expressway. And you can see open roads out that way. Traffic's moving along up to speed. He said he checked out the area near Washington Street and 465 where we had a reported crash. He said no delays for your west side commute in that spot, so that is great news. We'll continue to keep our eyes on any issues and we'll keep you updated.
If you're looking for a job, there are some things you need to know to protect yourself from scammers. LinkedIn is sharing tips to avoid potential fraud in the job search as fake accounts start to show up on the site. LinkedIn says if you see a job posting that claims to pay a lot for a little work, it's likely too good to be true. It also warns that legitimate employers will never ask for payment as part of the recruiting process. Be skeptical if you get an offer immediately after an interview, especially if it was a remote interview. Make sure the person who posted the job opportunity actually works for the company. And one of the biggest red flags about a fake posting is bad grammar.
This is the deal. I hope you don't leave me.
So opening up on his brush with death and how their marriage almost came apart. Coming up later on Good Morning America right here on RTV6, Robin Roberts sits down for a revealing look at Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. The time now, 6:53, right here on Good Morning Indiana. Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
A stray dog in the former Soviet Republic of Georgia is an internet sensation. That's because this dog helps kids get across the street safely. Video shows the dog helping groups of kindergarten children cross a busy street. He barks at the cars to get them to stop so the children can use the crossing safely. The person who shot the video says the stray dog lives in the neighborhood and is called Kershaw.
Oh.
He needs a badge and a vest.
And just probably needs to be paid in milk bones, right?
Oh, that's very cute. All right, Todd, you got to tell us about the forecast. It's not the best forecast,
no, it's
but not bad for January.
It's a cold day, but we're getting closer to seasonable levels once again. Some morning clouds, afternoon sunshine with a high temperature right around 30 degrees. And then we'll start a warming trend tomorrow up to 36, 40s as we head into Thursday and Friday. Next chance of precipitation Thursday night into Friday.
Todd, thanks. We're back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America.
We hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. Stay warm.
We'll see you tomorrow. Good Morning America is